Alright, what is up everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're doing a quiz. I've done a couple of these on the channel. We're doing another one here today. It's on Sporkle. It's called NBA Franchises Top Score by Decade. So basically going through each decade and trying to guess who the top scorer for each team was during that decade. So going back through NBA history and trying to put my NBA knowledge back to the test again here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Join the membership. If you want to learn more about the membership, there's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. Link to my Twitters and all that stuff in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. Alright, here we go, around Sporkle with this quiz. Trying to name the best score by each decade. So you see it right here. We got 80s, 90s, 2010, 2020s, depending on, of course, when the team was put into existence. And so, yeah, I got 20 minutes to do this. So, yeah, let's get into it. Alright, 144. Let's lock in. Let's take a breath. And let's go. Alright, 76ers. The 80s. 80s 76ers. Hal Greer, I think. I want to say Julius Erving. Julius Erving. 90s. 90s only 6,000 points. Was it Charles Barkley? No. Yeah, Charles Barkley wasn't around that long in the 90s. Might have been Derek Coleman. No, but he was I think he was probably for the Hornets or something. 90s Sixers. 90s Sixers. 90s. It wasn't Iverson, right? He was obviously he was 2000s. 90s? This was like the era where they were kind of bad. So it was like Derek Coleman, like no, not Tyrone Hill. No, dang, I feel like I'm gonna be so mad because I feel like I'm probably forgetting somebody. The 96ers, like Clarence Weatherspoon or something. Clarence Weatherspoon. Wow, that's wow. Okay, 2010s. I'll guess Iggy. No, not Iggy. So Drew Holiday, maybe. No, 2010s. Not Drew Holiday. I'm trying to think of someone that played for a long. Trying to think of someone that played for the most. Because 2010s, that was like in the middle of the process days. It wasn't. I know Embiid is in the 2020s. 2010s. It's not Ben. No, it's not Ben Simmons. Joe Okafor didn't play that long. Nerlens Noel. Yeah, this was like the era where they were going from being like in the playoffs to then being like at the bottom of the NBA. So like JJ Redick, 2010s, only 5,000 points. Was it like it might have been like Isaiah Cannon, Michael Carter Williams, like Michael Carter Williams? No, Jason Richardson? No, dang, 2010s. Drew Holiday, Andre Iguodala, Evan Turner. It was like no, Elton Brand was old at that point. Well, at this point. With the Sixers at this point. Elton Brand, no, he was for the Clippers in the 2000s. We'll come back to it. Alright, Bucks. The 80s. I'm going to go with Sidney Moncrief. There we go. I didn't spell it right. 90s. This again, they were kind of bad at this point. Glenn Robinson. 2000s, I'm going to go Ray Allen. No, not Ray Allen. So 2000s. 11,000 points. Oh, Michael Redd. Michael Redd. 2010s. This is again the point where they're kind of bad. Brandon Knight? No. 9,000 points. I know it's going to be Giannis for the 2000s. And he was for the 2010s. Okay. Yeah, because he started popping off. He was like in 2017. All right, Bulls. We could just write Jordan for the 80s and 90s. 2000s now. Is there Rose at any point? 2010s. 2000s. I already wrote Elton Brand for another team. 2000s. Jamal Crawford? No. 2000. Who's the 2000? This is like when they were bad. Joakim Noah. Who is like the star player for the... Also, you gotta think about star players, but you also have to think about who played there for a long time. So this is probably someone that maybe played for a lot of the time in 2000s, like Kirk Heinrich. It might actually be Kirk Heinrich. Heinrich. No, not Kirk Heinrich. Tyson Chandler? No. Okay, 2020s. It's probably Zach LaVine. Okay, we'll come back to that. Cavs in the 80s. Austin, Mark Price for the 90s, 80s. Brad Daugherty. Daugherty. Larry Nance. 1980s. Was it like John Williams? 1980, 6,000 points. Mark, the 80s was like when the Cavs were like decent. So it was Larry Nance, Craig, not really Craig Elo, no. Okay, 2000 LeBron for 2000 and 2010s. 2020s, it might actually be Donovan Mitchell. No, then it's Darius Garland. 1980s, we'll come back. All right, Celtics now. Celtics, 80s. Havlicek. Oh, no. Larry Bird. What am I talking about? Larry Bird. 90s. 90s. Antoine Walker? No. I know Paul Pierce is going to be here. 20s and 2010s. 90s, only 6,000 points. D. Brown, Reggie Lewis passed away early 90s. 90s is when the Celtics kind of fell off. So who was like the top players? It's like Dino Raja or something. No. Okay, 2020s is Tatum. We'll come back. All right, Clippers. Oh, this could be hard. 80s. Let's see. Will be free. I'm gonna use the 80s for the Cavs. Okay. Clippers. 80s and 90s is tough. Ellen Brand for the 2000s. 2010s, I know Blake Griffin. And 2020s, is it Paul George? All right, because I was thinking probably more Paul George because Kawhi's hurt. 80s and 90s for the Clippers. 80s and 90s for the Clippers. This is like, I don't know anything about the Clippers in the 80s and 90s. So this is like, I don't know anything. We'll come back. All right, Grizzlies. Let's see, Mike Bibby. No, Mike Bibby. Sharif Abdur-Rahim. Sharif Abdur-Rahim. For the 2000s. Mike Conley, no. Marc Gasol and Pau Gasol. And then 2020 is John Morant. Wow, no Mike Conley is interesting. Even though he's like, I think he's the leading scorer in Grizzlies history. All right, the Hawks, 80s. Dominique Wilkins. If I can spell his name right. If I can ever spell his name right. And 90s, okay. 2000s. I already put. I know Joe Johnson is gonna. Oh, he was 2000. Okay, 2010s. It's Al Horford. And the 2020s, Trae Young. And Thaddeus Young. That's a good one. Yeah, Thaddeus Young. I honestly wouldn't have guessed it. All right, Miami. 80s, only 1,000 points in the 80s. Because they were invented in like 1988. So they only played like a year or two in the 80s. It might be like Harold Miner. No, John Crotty. Ronnie Cycli. Okay. I know Alonzo Mourning is going to be in here. Probably for either the 90s or the 2000s. No, he's not in there. Tim Hardaway? No. Jamal Mashburn? No. Who was going to... What? Well, I know D-Wade. And the 2020s is Jimmy. No. It's Bam. 80s and 90s, 9,000 points. In the 90s. It's not Alonzo Mourning. It's not Tim Hardaway. It's not Jamal Mashburn. Who was in the 90s with the Heat? Is it Eddie Jones? No. Dang, 9,000 points is a lot of points. So it's got to be someone, like, known. We'll come back. All right, Hornets. Larry Johnson. No. 80s. Like Muggsy Bogues. Glenn Rice. Oh, he was... Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. All right, Hornets. Hornets. 80s is not... Only 1,000 points in the 80s. It was like Kendall Gill. I already said Muggsy Bogues, Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning, unless I spelled his name wrong. Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson. Kemba, 2020. Is it? It's not LaMelo in 2020. Who's in the 2020s? 2020s, Miles Bridges, actually. 2020s, Miles Bridges. Is it? It's not Cody Zeller. LaMelo. It's not LaMelo. Terry Rozier. 2000s. Was it Gerald Wallace? 90s, 9,000 points in the 90s. I said Glenn Rice. I said Eddie Jones. It might be like David Wesley or something. No. Eldon Campbell. No. We'll come back to it. Utah. All right, Karl Malone for the 80s and 90s. Oh no, 90s and 2000s. So 80s is probably Adrian Dantley. Adrian Dantley was a bucket getter. 2010s, Gordon Hayward. Sorry, there's thunder outside, so if you hear that, sorry. And 2020s, Donovan Mitchell. But no, I already put Mitchell earlier. So 2020s might be Rudy Gobert. No, 2020s. Oh, Larry Markkinen. No? 2020. Oh, Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson. It's Jordan Clarkson. Alright. Kings. Already got the 80s. 90s. Is it Chris? It's not Chris. 12,000 points in the 90s. 90s Kings. Mitch Richmond? Yeah, Mitch Richmond. 2000s. Peja Stojakovic. 2010s, DeMarcus Cousins. And 2020, De'Aaron Fox. Okay. Surprising the Kings were that easy. Got 10 minutes left. Still got a lot of teams. Alright, so let's do this. Alright. Knicks. Patrick Ewing in the 90s. 80s Knicks. 80s Knicks. 80s Knicks. 1980s Knicks. Why can I not think of anybody for the 1980s Knicks that's had 9th? Oh, Bernard King. Bernard King. I knew there was some. Oh, no, it's not Bernard King? Wow, okay, then who is it then? Bill Cartwright. It's Bill Cartwright. 2000s. Allen Houston. 2010s, Melo. And then 2020s, Julius Randle. Alright, Lakers. In the 80s, was it Kareem? It's probably Kareem. Alright, Kareem. 90s, Shaq. Oh no, Kobe in the 2000s and 2010s. 90s, though. It's like Byron Scott. Michael. Oh no, James Worthy? No. AC Green. 90s, only 6,000 points. This 90s, this was the transition where they were going from like after Magic, before Shaq. So who was on that team? It's not Eddie Jones. 6,000. We'll come back to it. Kurt Rambis. No, okay. Magic in the 90s. I'll go Penny Hardaway. No, it's not Penny Hardaway or Shaq. Is it Horace Grant? 10,000 points in the 90s. It's not Shaq. Or Penny. Then who is it? It's got to be someone that played a long time then. For that team. Got to be someone that played for the entire decade of the 90s. Huh. Well, we'll go McGrady in the 2000s. Vucevic in the 2010s. In the 2020s, is it Paolo already? It might actually be Paolo already. No, then it's Franz Wagner. 90s. 10,000 points in the 90s. Is it like Daryl Armstrong? Or something? Wow, I cannot spell. Wow, okay. Dennis Scott. It's not Penny Hardaway. Unless I'm like, I gotta write the full name out. Penny Hardaway, Shaq, Dennis Scott, Horace Grant. Who else is on this team? It's like Donald Royal or something. Or like, I don't know. Okay, Mavericks. Rolando Blackman, no. Alright. Alright, let's get the easy ones out of the way. Dirk. And then 2020s is Luka. 80s and 90s. That's hard, because that was like the bad point of the Mavericks. I don't know anything about the Mavericks at this point. 13th. Oh, Mark Aguirre? Mark Aguirre. And the 90s, I couldn't tell you. Oh, Michael Finley? Not Michael Finley. Okay. Nets. Sorry, we got Buck Williams, Derrick Coleman, Vince Carter. 2010s, Brook Lopez. And 2020s, it might be, is it KD already? Or no, is it Kyrie? Kyrie. Alright, Nuggets. 80s, Alex English. 90s, is it Dikembe? No, it's not Dikembe. Is it, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf? Carmelo, 2010s, Kenneth Faried. No, 2010s is, well, it's Jokic or 2020s. 2010s, Will Barton. No, it's not Will Barton. Only 5,000 points. Ty Lawson? Wow, shout out to Ty Lawson, man. Alright, Indiana Pacers. Alright, we got 6 minutes left. We gotta hurry up a little bit. Alright, 80s. Alright, Reggie Miller. Alright, we got the Pacers done. Pelicans. Chris Paul and David West are tied, actually. That's crazy. 2010s, Anthony Davis. 2020s, is it Brandon Ingram? Okay. Pistons. Isaiah in the 80s. 90s, Grant Hill. No. Joe Dumars then. 2000s, is it Rip Hamilton? 2010s, Andre Drummond. And then 2020s, is it Cade already? It's not Cade already. Drummond, 2020, 2000, is it Bogdanovich? Okay, Isaiah Stewart. It's not Isaiah Stewart. 2000, almost 3,000 points. Jay Ivey, Jalen Duren. 2020s, 2020s Pistons, 2020s Pistons, 2020s, Pistons. It's not Reggie Jackson. 2000, it's got to be a young dude, because only 2,000 points. 2020s, the Pistons have only had like Cade Cunningham in them. So who is it? It's got to be someone on the end of that bench. All right, we'll come back. Raptors. Is it like Charles Oakley? Raptors. Well, okay, I put Steph. Raptors. It's not Carter or McGrady at any point for the Raptors. So who is it then? It's got to be someone that played a long time. Is it like Kevin Willis? Well, DeRozan for the 2010s. 2020s is Siakam. 2000s and 90s. Is it Kyle Lowry at any point? No. Robosa? No. 90s and 2000s. Del Curry, Kevin Willis, Charles Oakley, Muggsy Bogues, Vince. Okay, Rockets. Is it Calvin Murphy? No. Okay, it's Akeem for the 80s. Oh, 80s and 90s. Okay. Yao Ming for the 2000s, and then Harden for the 2010s. Spurs. Is it like Sean Elliott for the 80s? No, is it Alvin Robertson? Who's it for the 80s then? 12,000 points. Oh, George Gervin. 2000, Tim Duncan. 2010s, is it Tony Parker? Okay. And then Keldon Johnson for the 20s is funny. Suns, all right. 2000s, Suns. Steve Nash. No, then it's Amari Stoudemire. No, Damon Stoudemire for the Raptors from the 90s. Okay. Stoudemire. No. 2000 Suns. Well, I know it's Booker for the 2000s and 2010. 1,000 points. It's not Jason Kidd. Is it Sean Marion? Wow, Sean Marion. Okay, OKC / Seattle. Okay. Is it Sean Kemp? No. Then Gary Payton for the 90s. It's not Durant, so it's Westbrook. Oh, Doug West. Okay, I got that one. I don't even know who that is. Westbrook, 2010s, is it? It's probably Shea. Okay, 2000s. 2000s, is it like Jeff Green? Brent Barry. 10,000 points in the 2000s. Rashard Lewis. And then 80s is like, I have no idea for the 80s. I couldn't tell you. All right, Timberwolves. All right, Kevin Garnett. 2010s, Kevin Love. No, not Kevin Love. Is it Ricky Rubio? Is it Wiggins? All right, and the 2020s is it Ant already? Wow. Okay, Blazers. 80s. Is it Bill Walton? No, I don't think he. Okay, 80s. Oh, Clyde Drexler. No, not Clyde Drexler is interesting. All right, Dame for 2010s and 2020s. 80s. I only know Maurice Lucas. Okay, Warriors. Is it Chris Mullin for the 90s, and for the 80s, 11,000 points. I was putting Nate Thurman. He played in like the 6 to 70s. 80s, 11,000 points in the 80s for the Warriors. Is it like Sleepy Floyd? I think I know, but I can't think of them right now. Wizards. 2020s is Bradley Beal. Gilbert Arenas? No. Like Caron Butler. 2000s and 90s for the Wizards. Is it Jerry Stackhouse? No. Okay. We got 2 minutes left, and we need 14 more. The Bulls in the 2000s. The most ones I'm missing are the 80s and the 2000s. Oh, actually, I'm missing some 90s, too. Huh. 90s Lakers. I'm surprised I'm missing a Laker one. In the 90s, the Lakers. It's not Eddie Jones. Is it like Rick Fox? Was he even around at that point? No. It's not Byron Scott. It's not Michael Cooper. Magic, James Worthy. It's like Sam Perkins. Kareem was gone. Dang. I'm trying to think if there's anybody that I'm missing. Raptors in the 2000s. Raptors in the 2000s might be like a weird one. Raptors is probably going to be a weird. Pistons, 2020s Pistons. It's not Bogdanovich, it's not Cade, it's not Jane Ivey, it's not Isaiah Stewart. Then who is it? 2020s Pistons. I'm not missed a 2020s Pistons. It's not Blake because he would have came up because I typed him in for the Clippers. It's not Drummond. It's not like Reggie Jackson. It's not Bogdanovich. I'm probably gonna be so mad at myself. It's not Cade. It's not Duran. It's not Isaiah Stewart. Then who is it then? I'm so mad that I can't get that one. That's dang. Hold on, it's like Jerome Kersey or something for Portland. No. All right, we're just gonna give up. I don't think I can think of any more. All right. Ben Gordon for the Bulls in 2000s. Clippers, Norm Nixon, Danny Manning. Honestly, I would never have gotten Norm Nixon. Danny Manning, maybe I could have got. Hornets, Kelly Tripucka. I would have never even. He never would even cross my mind. Lakers, Vlade Divac. Okay, that makes kind of much sense. Orlando, Nick Anderson. All right, Nick Anderson. Yeah, that's the only. I was like, there's one more starter I'm missing. It's Nick Anderson. Mavericks, Derek Harper. Okay. Sadiq Bey for the Pistons. Okay. I thought it was gonna be someone on the current team. All right, Sadiq Bey. Oh, Chris Bosh. Oh my God, that's a fail. That is a big L. Oh, how did I miss Chris Bosh for the Raptors? Oh my God, that's embarrassing. Jack Sigma, okay. Jim Paxson, all right. Purvis Short, okay. Juwan Howard and Antoine Jameson, all right. Honestly, I'm mad that I missed Chris Bosh. I'm mad that I missed Sadiq Bey. After that, like Jim Paxson, Jack Sigma, I'm fine with not knowing those guys. Like 80s, I'm fine with. Those two, though. That's a big miss. Dang, I can't believe I forgot Chris Bosh. For the rap, I can't believe I forgot Chris Bosh. That's gonna haunt me for the rest of the day. I can't believe I forgot Chris Bosh. He was so good for the Raptors, man. Dang. Alright, that's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, turn on notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.